Welcome once again, Emerald Downs Weekly Time, right here on NBC Sports Northwest. Joe Withy, Gary Dougherty, and Phil Ziegler, as we're going to recap another weekend of action and excitement at Emerald Downs. A couple of stakes races last weekend. Shorter big races this weekend, quarter horse events. Gary, and we've got the Friday through Sunday schedule, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Live music on Friday night, DJ on Saturday. And Phil, last week I heard you bought a horse.
No, I did not. They had the horse sale, but I did not. You know, we only have countdown is
You're
on.
about due for that.
No.
No?
5 weekends
that was a quick
to
no.
go. No.
Okay.
We only have 5 weekends left of the season.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's coming
we
up.
We all are agreeing that it's speeding right by the 2019 Emerald Downs season. Miles history, but still plenty to do. The Washington Cup over 3 weekends. Top quarter horses in action this weekend, and we have
Italian Day is coming up.
That's a good one.
And
a dollar night on Saturday.
That's a big one.
Yes.
Dollar nights are huge.
Well, especially this one because it's dollar margaritas, not beers.
Oh.
But the following Saturday, our end of summer party in the park on the 31st, will have dollar beers. People love dollar beers.
Ooh.
This Saturday, dollar margaritas are just as popular. So come on
Gary
out.
just might resign for the rest of the season.
I got some vacation time.
Yeah, for that dollar beer night. Okay, well, a lot of great action on the track last week. We had some blowout wins on Sunday, but let's go back to Friday night. We had a 2-year-old race. This was a 2-year-old winner's race. The first of the season, not a stake race, and we had 6 fillies in here and 1 colt.
We've never seen that before.
That is an
We've
oddity.
all agreed. We never have seen that before.
And that's Love Flies on Wings for David Martinez, Juan Gutierrez aboard. What distinction does she hold right there? She is the only 2-year-old to win 2 races at the meeting so far. We've had no repeat winners in the stakes. Love Flies on Wings, bred and owned by Keith Swaggerty's stable. So a nice win there. The only male in there was the favorite, Danger's My Middle Name. He came in third. Let's go on to race number 3 on Friday night, a Fab Friday here at Emerald Downs. In this third race, Smoothie Lee had lost the lead. He's on the inside there. Pulpit's Power, the favorite, slight lead there with the white blinkers, but Smoothie Lee, the former Emerald Racing Club horse, comes back on for his third win at the meeting. So a nice job by jockey Gary Wales, Vince Gibson, the trainer. There's the winner's circle, Smoothie Lee, and we'll go on to race number 4 here at Emerald Downs, Friday night, Fab Friday, first race 6:30. And Z Speranza sent a mile by trainer Greg Moore. She liked this distance. She just drew off, and the public liked her too. She was the 2-1 favorite, won by over 4 lengths. Jose Zanino up for trainer Greg Moore. Yeah, first time at the mile. Big win for Z Speranza. And the feature race is the 6th on Friday nights. It's the Muckleshoot Casino Purse. And let's listen to track announcer Tom Harris.
Final furlong away now, and Bo Rocket leads them down the stretch, clear by 3. Crazy for Gold chasing, but to no avail. Bo Rocket and Javier Matias cruising home, and they win it by 5.
Bo Rocket paid $9 in that 6-horse field. That was quite the overlay. 2-1 morning line, and let go because I guess it was her first race at a mile. But she's trained by Blaine Wright, Javier Matias aboard. She's now 3 for 4 lifetime. That's a good payoff, I thought. I didn't have it.
Yeah, and that's kind of a trend we're going to see as you show all these replays with horses really going out and winning in dominant fashion. Not a lot of close finishes this past weekend.
Didn't the one horse win a majority of the races this weekend?
Well, on Sunday.
Sunday?
6 out of 10. Yeah, 6 number 1 horses won on Sunday. So let's, before we do Sunday, how about let's do Saturday. Let's go to the third race on Saturday here at Emerald Downs. And this is a 2-year-old win by Gold Crusher. Second time out, big time second out improvement. It shows what a horse can do from first to second. He had the 1 post in his debut, and just not great interest at the start, first time starter, but had the 1 post again, and it was all Gold Crusher, and he was claimed out of there for $25,000 by Chad Christensen.
Wow, $25,000.
Our leading owner.
Out of Brookie Girl, she was pretty quick, and Harbor the Gold Desire, well, we all know who he is. And Joe, do you pick that horse? You like horses making their second career start?
I do. I missed that one. But Yeah, I missed that second timer, and it paid well.
How about the predictor? I think the predictor had that one.
Undoubtedly.
I don't know.
He would have worked it in there somehow. If you put the logicals with that horse, he
Watch
should have
those.
had it, right? Okay,
Yes.
let's go on to race number 4 on Saturday. Speaking of Chad Christensen, he claimed Gold Crusher out of the 3rd. He wins the 4th with Old School Ike. Our leading owner, he is going to threaten that all-time record of 27 wins by the Swag Stables around 10 years ago or so. He's has over 20. We'll check out the owner standings before too long here. George Carino up for trainer Frank Lucarelli, and that was a big number win in Emerald Downs history for Frank Lucarelli. I believe it was 999.
Ooh, setting him up. The
setting the
drama on the
stage.
show. Set the stage. Nice tease, Joe.
6th race on Saturday, and here's another overlay. Rosso's Gatto is just pulling away and winning clearly. She was 5-1 morning line. She pays 27.20 here for her 4th win at the meeting. She's raced 9 times. She's been busy. 4 wins, 2 seconds, and a 3rd. George Rosales trainee, he's having a great season. Eddie Martinez aboard. Yeah, that was quite the overlay. 27.20 on a 5-1 morning line. So we always have a feature race on Saturday as well. And let's hear from Tom Harris on this one. Good field.
Mike Mansgold is chasing. Center of the racetrack, hit the beach next. 200 yards for home. Here comes the press rolling at the inside. In deep stretch, Grinder Sparks Aglow trying to fin them off. Here's the finish. Hit the beach on the outside, coming on. Grinder Sparks Aglow. Looks to have held on.
Well, Tom Harris says looks to have held on. Grinder Sparks Aglow. That's hit the beach out in the middle, and Grinder Sparks Aglow making it a little tight for the press there, right at the wire. So a very tight finish.
Stewart's inquiry.
Yeah, and some drama, post-race drama. But as you can see, the official winner is Grinder Sparks Aglow. That interference that he did cause a little bit was so late at the race, it was like 10 feet from the wire.
Yeah, and that's what the stewards say. The stewards always give an explanation when you look back and you say, wow, he came over, interfered with the press. But it was right at the wire, and although the press had to check, probably was not going to finish any better than where he finished, and therefore
I'm thinking the same thing there.
So
Good no call.
Yeah, and Grinder Sparks Aglow, what a great resume on that horse to go off another overlay. I mean, the horse
huge
is 6-1
overlay. You're
morning
right.
line.
6-1 morning line goes off at 15-1.
Yeah, nobody could. We looked up afterwards and just wondered why we didn't bet the horse, because at 15-1, he gives an honest try every time.
Oh, he's 8 years old. He's having a sensational year. He's going to be one of the top horses coming up in the Muckleshoot Tribal Classic in September. That was Juan Gutierrez aboard for Robbie Bays. Now 8 wins at Emerald Downs, 7 at Portland for Grinder Sparks Aglow.
Owned by Richard Cena.
Yeah, Richard Cena.
He calls him Elvis in the barn.
Yeah.
Now, Mike Mansgold was obviously going for the record in that race, and I think there was a lot of sentimental bets. Sometimes
that's why you're here, Phil,
money.
to bring in those good points at
right?
the end. That's
you could make money by sometimes betting against those sentimental bets, because everybody was hoping Mike Mansgold would win, but he didn't.
No, he was going, as Phil said, he was trying to break that tie with West Seattle Boy and was right in there behind Grinder Sparks Aglow at the top of the stretch.
Did he get claimed, Joe? Did he get claimed?
No, not this time. First time he did not in a while, yeah.
Same barn, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there's some good action on Friday and Saturday at Emerald Downs. Once again, first race 5 p.m. on Saturdays. We'll go back to Sunday. A lot more to talk about. The horse sale. The kids' race was exciting. Stakes races on Sunday. We'll be right back here on Emerald Downs Weekly. Phil coming through with those good.
You forgot about
added
Mike's
points.
Mansgold in that race. Yeah.
I did write something somewhere.
That's right, Bart.
Didn't break the record
You
yet.
got to drop him in class.
Emerald Downs Weekly. Joe Withy, Gary Doherty, Phil Ziegler, and just another great weekend of action. 2-year-old stakes races. Let's get to Sunday, fellas. Let's go to that second race. And we had a 3-horse speed duel up front. Cherokee Louise in the middle of the track. She's going to come on and win her 3rd straight. We have 15 horses with 3 wins. And I believe it's 4 horses with 4 wins. So that claimer of the meeting battle is going to go right down to the wire, as it often does. There's Cherokee Louise with Gary Wales for Charles Essex. Again, 3 in a row for her. good ride there, as there was 3 horses hooking up front in that race. Let's go on to race number 4, and the blowouts begin here on Sunday. We had some huge margins of victory, including this one. That's Kevin Krieger aboard Smiling Bandit. First time at a mile for this horse. What did he win by? I was guessing 16. You know, you guess on things like this.
I'll say
I was short.
18.
Oh, you beat me.
What was the number? I have no idea.
Oh, really?
Nope.
Okay, 20 lengths.
20, oh, is that a new track
20
record?
lengths
20?
for Smiling Bandit.
Wow.
Yeah. And Kevin
Glenn
Krieger
Kelly?
won 4 races, averaged of about 7 lengths.
He wasn't even the the
No,
favorite in that
I
race.
think
Was it third
I believe
choice?
it was third choice.
Yeah.
Smiling Bandit. Yeah, first time going a mile.
Yep.
So then let's go on to the 5th race, and this one will go down in Emerald Downs history as another huge win, 14.5 lengths for Crest Drive. Gary Wales again, this time Chad Christensen silks, and Frank Lucarelli's 1,000th Emerald Downs victory. Congratulations to Frank. That's him and his wife Pam holding the sign. Jack Hodge presenting to him with a beautiful saddle that's going to be engraved as well. And Frank has just been outstanding.
There was drama in that race. It didn't appear that way when you
At the
see
start.
how much he won by, but
Oh.
there was actually an inquiry in that race at the start, and the one came out a little bit. And
Yeah.
But once everybody's standing there sweating it out, but once they
That's
said
right.
no change, it was a big sigh of relief and ovation for everybody.
Ovation, exactly.
Very happy for Frank.
In fact, let's hear from Frank Lucarelli after his record win.
I just want to thank everybody in Emerald Downs. My wife, she's awesome. Dennis Snowden, he does all the work through the spring, gets them to the races. I'm gone most of the time and in nicer weather, and he's battling it, does a awesome job. And of course, my owners. Without the great owners, the guys able to, let me run horses and do my job, this wouldn't happen. And my grooms, they're awesome. I've had them, some of them guys been with me 15, 20 years, and it comes all down to that. It's more about that than anything I've done, and I want to thank them all.
He's done a lot, 1,000 wins, 5 training titles. He's on his way to his 6th. Actually, he's leading 57-33 over Blaine Wright in the standings this year, and 47 Emerald Downs career stakes wins for Frank Lucarelli. He's high atop that list as well. Pitched a perfect game for Western Washington University in 1977.
A little side note here, credit to Vince Brune and you guys for keeping statistics like that, because there's a lot of racetracks that don't, they'll look at lifetime wins but not necessarily keep track of how many a trainer has at a particular racetrack like we do here. So we have some great statistics and great accomplishment by Frank.
We got on those early. Gary has helped with those as well over the years. So Frank, on the stake standings for trainers at Emerald Downs, Doris Harwood, number 1. Boy, she had about a 10-year run that was incredible. Jim Penny left us a couple years ago, but tremendous success for decades. Frank is right up there. One ahead of Howard Belvoir, Bud Klokstad, all of them in the Washington Hall of Fame except for Frank Lucarelli. And you pointed out that the Rosses combined are right up there as well.
Yeah, if you combine Larry and Sharon's stakes wins here at Emerald Downs, they'd be, I believe, at 47. So they've had a great career here also at Emerald Downs.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So Frank Lucarelli, actually the Hall of Fame this year is for trainers pre-1980, so Frank not eligible for that, but I think he's going to get
1 to
into it
20,
soon.
1 to 9 or 1 to 20
he's
the next year, huh?
2020, class of 2020.
Yes.
All right, let's go on to the 6th race, the Barbara Shinpo Stakes for juvenile fillies. Tom Harris calls them down to the wire.
Late surge from You Go Girl into third, 200 yards for home, and Cakewalk and Javier Matias holding on gamely here. Windy Point chasing, but Cakewalk will win the Barbara Shimpo, home in front by 3.
Well, Blaine Wright, the trainer of Cakewalk, shipped up from the Tenbroke farm of Dave Mowat, who supports Emerald Downs so well. Also runs across the pond at Royal Ascot and all over the North America. Javier Matias aboard. Blaine Wright is kind of stuck on 7 stakes wins for a while, but he jumped through there with the 2-year-old filly.
Yep. And he was wearing number 1.
Yeah, that's right. Did we say that already? 6 number 1 horses won on Sunday, and most of them by pretty wide margins. Let's go to the 8th race, the WTBOA Lads. We had 10 2-year-old colts and geldings in this one, and 7 were coming from the WTBOA sale of 2018.
Wilson to Lockett on the attack now from the outside. Final furlong remains. Here comes Muncie in with a late charge now. Deep stretch they come. Harbor's Rule on the lead. Muncie is rolling on the outside. 40 yards to the finish. And Muncie just up.
Another number 1 horse. This time, though, he got off the rail as Javier Matias was stalking just off the pace and swung Muncie out. A second-time starter. Breaks his maiden in the WTBOA Lads for the Rising Star stable. Howard Belvoir. Javier Matias wins both stakes on Sunday.
Yep.
How about that Rising Star and their prowess over the last several years? It's been incredible.
Fantastic. Yes.
Yeah, the run of 2-year-olds, right?
So Lucky.
Yeah.
And
Barkley.
was undefeated at 2.
Yeah.
And Elliott Bay won
Elliott
the Gottstein
Bay.
a couple years ago.
And now this one.
Tremendous. Yeah. And Muncie, a son of Munnings like Barkley, and Howard Belvoir mentioned Barkley's doing really well. He's going to go to his winter home pretty soon. And
that track was pretty speed biased, wasn't it, on Sunday? And here's a 2-year-old, which in those kind of races is usually wire to wire, but this horse overcame, a slow start and passed 3 horses late to get the money. So very impressive.
Yeah, very much indeed. So that was the WTBOA Lads. We had one more race to go on Sunday. Let's take a look at this one. And by the way, Gary, I'm surprised you didn't count up the margin of victory lengths. I did. I covered for you. 73 lengths the winners won by on Sunday in 10 races. Lawan exceeded that. He won by a 9, I believe it was, for Lawan. And he's won 3 out of 4. The only 2 times he hasn't won at the meet, he's really kind of had a little bit of slow starts. But John Parker, owner, and also Candy Kreiderman trainee, Lawan ridden by Kevin Krieger, who had a
4-bagger.
That's right. Kevin Krieger is just doing really well at Emerald Downs for 3 weeks now. And Kevin said he was probably going to head down to the Bay Area after Emerald Downs concludes. But he's not leaving here. He's doing well. He's making money, winning races. Okay, stake standings for trainers. There's the jockey stake standings. Kevin Orozco's still on top. He had that great July when he had doubles in stakes wins 2 weekends in a row. Franklin Ceballos, great to see him on Mile Day, up and about. Juan Hernandez, how about that win-place percentage for Juan? 7 of 10 mounts in the exacta. And Javier Matias has won 3 stakes over the last couple of weekends, so he's up on the board.
And Stevens just missed to have 3 in that race Sunday.
Yeah, he was on Harbor's Rule, who just got nipped by Muncie. But Scott Stevens, Phil, he has just made the most of his trips up here this year.
He likes it here. And what's his age again? You guys know. How
58.
old? 58. And he rides great.
No, he's riding more selectively, but in the Minnesota Hall of Fame, and I believe it's 9 titles in Phoenix, Turf Paradise. Scott is tremendous. How about Blaine Wright supporting the stakes program this year with 38 starters?
That could be a record.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Well, I'm not sure.
Again, the win
stakes.
percentage, we haven't had, how many stakes races have we had
20.
so far?
20.
So he has multiple starters in all these races.
Yep.
And
So there's how many more, Joe? 6 to go? 6 more stakes races?
well, there's 3 Washington Cups, but then you have the Gottstein on closing day.
Okay.
So at least 7.
7. And the record's what, 12? For
The
the most?
record's 12, that's
Okay.
right. Chris Stensley, Frank Lucarelli. Yeah, there's stake standings for trainers. All right, are we done with this segment? Just about. We've got a lot more to do on Emerald Downs Weekly. There was a lot of kids on the track having fun in the sun on a Sunday. We'll be right back.
start breaking out the song there, Joe.
Emerald Downs Weekly continues. Racing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday again this weekend. Plenty of action remaining at Emerald Downs in the summer of 19. And we had a good summer event this past weekend, Gary.
Yeah, it was our final family fun day and our third annual kids race. Over 200, Phil, went
Call that race.
110
Call those names.
yards.
Come on.
It was
Rattle 'em off.
Bobby on the inside and Omar on the outside, right down to the wire.
I think that's a female, not by the name of Omar or Bobby.
17 and under.
That was close.
Wow.
That was a girl, yeah.
We had some kids, parents carry them. Few fell. Some raced in their bare feet. All in all, they had a blast.
Look at Dean.
She
Dean's
won
point. Dean Mizuko with the
He
official
was our
starter.
starter. Yes.
Ah, the drone shot.
Yeah.
That's a spectacle right
That
there.
is a popular event. What's that, the third time we've done that at the meet?
Yeah.
Yes.
First time in front of the. We had the starting gate out there, in front of the kids, and they all enjoyed it. And in the winner's circle afterwards, they all got an ice cream treat.
Yep.
And the parents came down.
And you
grabbed
had
their
two.
kids.
You didn't even have to squat down to get yours.
I was passing them out, Phil, and
One for you, one for me.
it was pretty good. I also tried to sneak one in the ice box to have a third, but it was stolen.
Got
You
caught.
shouldn't tell all your negative secrets to the public. All right. So that race was called by Tom Harris, but how about the best race call of all time? Phil,
Well, we wanted to do this because you called, we talked about it last week extensively, you called the Long Acres Mile from right here at the set. For those that didn't watch the show or don't know the story, but Tom Harris's mic went out the very last second before the Long Acres Mile, and Joe had to call the mile from this position right here,
have to
looking
duck, Joe?
at the TV, and did an amazing job. And I know your phone's been lit up with people. You said you don't even know who they are texting
some
you
of 'em.
with
Yeah.
saying congratulations.
You know what
on
I
a
was
great race
thinking
call.
right in that 1 minute time?
What?
Nothing. My mind went
No,
blank.
you said you walked over after the race with this stunned look on your face. Like, I didn't have time to be nervous. It
No.
was great. So it made us think about, because a lot of folks will remember that. They won't remember the race, who won it, but they will remember your call.
Yep.
And it's something you'll never forget, but a lot of other folks won't either. So we thought it would be kind of fun to look back on our favorite race calls of all time. And I have to say my first choice is eventually what you picked, so I went to something different. So mine was the 2001 Breeders' Cup Classic, and this is Tom Durkin calling it. And the reason why, this was 6 weeks after 9/11 and the horrible tragedies that happened in New York and Washington and Pennsylvania. And New York was just the mood, and it was the first major event kind of after 9/11, just 6 weeks after. And Tom Durkin didn't miss a beat with one of the classic calls of all time in the 2001 Breeders' Cup Classic.
And the field turns for home. Here comes the arc winner, Saki, and he storms to the lead. Saki in narrow lead, and Tisno is battling on, the American Horse of the Year, and the arc winner are heads apart with a furlong to go in the Classic. On the outside, Saki, Tisno fights on. Here's the wire, desperately close. Tisno wins it for America, beating Saki right on the wire.
Chills just
Yeah,
listening to Tisnow wins it for America and the crowd cheering. It's just one of those moments that you never forget. Great
It's
job.
now second consecutive Breeders' Cup Classic victory.
Yep.
And he won in similar fashion the year before against Giants Causeway in Kentucky, but that one was very special.
It was
and
special.
Tom Durkin got it all right there.
Did. Just one of those just in the moment. So, Gary, what's yours?
Another Breeders' Cup race, again, Tom Durkin. Just the magic of him calling the first 15, 16 years of the Breeders' Cup. I went back 25 years ago to 1994. We had two Racing Hall of Fame fillies go head-to-head.
They're down to the final furlong. Serena's Song and Flanders 1-2 the whole way. Don't count Flanders out yet. Head day goes to work. Flanders on the inside. On the outside, Serena's Song giving their all as they come down to the line. A spellbinding stretch run. Flanders, Serena's Song. Flanders looks like she got her nostril on the wire first. Serena's Song was right there.
He called the head bob right as well.
Wow.
Yep.
Tom Durkin, Flanders on the
both
inside.
trained
won
by
it.
D. Wayne Lucas.
Yeah.
And Flanders, who won the race, this is 2-year-olds. She finished 5 for 5, and that was her last career start.
Yep.
And Serena Song, as we know, went on to run the Kentucky Derby at 3, win 5 straight Grade 1s or Greatest Stakes after that race, and boy, Phil, Tom Durkin, wasn't he the best?
Oh, God. And when he called, you could pick any one of his races. Kong winning the Breeders' Cup Classic. He's 99-1. I mean, you could just hear it in your head. But by far, I have to agree. Ours are pretty good. But, Joe, you got to pick first.
Well, there was a lot on the line in the Belmont of 73. Secretariat had been pretty incredible, winning the Derby and Preakness. He was actually Horse of the Year as a 2-year-old also. But it had been 25 years since anybody had won the Triple Crown, and there was a bunch of them in the 30s and 40s. So people were anticipating the Belmont Stakes of 1973. Chick Anderson, famous race caller for CBS on this particular Saturday.
Secretariat is widening now. He is moving like a tremendous machine. Secretariat by 12. Secretariat by 14 lengths on the turn. Sham is dropping back. It looks like they'll catch him today as My Gallant and Vice Prince are both coming up to him now. But Secretariat is all alone. He's out there almost a 16th of a mile away from the rest of the horses. Secretariat is in a position that is impossible to catch. He's into the stretch. Secretariat leads his field by 18 lengths. And now Vice Prince has taken second, and My Gallant has moved down to third. They're in the stretch. Secretariat has opened a 22-length lead. He is going to be the Triple Crown winner. Here comes Secretariat to the wire. An unbelievable, an amazing performance. He hits the finish 25 lengths in front. This most magnificent animal who has today run the most sensational Belmont Stakes in the history of this race. Secretariat has accomplished the unbelievable task of breaking the 1.5-mile record by 2 3/5 seconds. That is a record that may stand forever.
Very prescient of Chick Anderson. It hasn't been broken. It's the
close.
World record on
Not
dirt.
even close.
No, nobody's come close to that, and it was 31 lengths. And he came through on a big stage, which he did so many times.
He even, after that race real quickly, went back and corrected himself, saying, you know what, I might have undersold it. It could have been more than 25
Did he
lengths.
say that?
And it was 31. And Chick Anderson became the track announcer at New York, but wasn't at that time, so he's calling it, as you said, for CBS only. Dave Johnson did the call at the track. I don't know that anybody ever knew that he did that.
I haven't heard it.
And remember who else was there? Who we just lost in the last few days? Jack Whitaker.
Jack Whitaker,
was
yes.
there for CBS.
One of the greats.
He gave his great analysis after the race, and he was a superb horse race fan, and he was there for the Triple Crown.
Fantastic part of the CBS broadcast and so many others. CBS Sports Spectacular, golf. Jack Whitaker, one of the great sports journalists in our country's history. We'll take a time out here and come back on Emerald Downs Weekly. Emerald Downs Weekly on NBC Sports Northwest. Joe Withey, Gary Doherty, and Phil Ziegler. And horses for sale at the WTBOA Summer Yearling and Mixed Sale this past Tuesday at the Pavilion right up the street on Ron Crockett Drive. Big event every summer. Usually been the Tuesday a couple weeks after the mile. There's hip number 31, and that horse went for $60,000. That's by Coast Guard out of Sweetheart of Sigma Chi. Ron Crockett and Mary Lou Griffin bred number 59, which went for $87,000, but that was the sales topper there.
Number 80.
Yeah.
$120,000.
Little bidding war going on between Chad Christensen and Todd Hansen.
Okay.
And Todd Hansen won that, and that winner's by Midshipman, who won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile out of Impeached, a stakes-placed runner, and this is her first foal. He had to be awful good looking as well. Midshipman in that Breeders' Cup Juvenile, I was down there at Santa Anita for that. He beat Square Eddie, Pioneer of the Nile, Munnings, Mind That Bird, and Gallant Son, the Washington top 2-year-old that year. He won a good race that day.
It was a good sale.
Yeah.
The sale was good.
It was a tremendous sale.
Over 10 for over $40,000.
And we should say WTBOA, the Washington Thoroughbred Breeders and Owners Association, right? Association? Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, the average was way up. The mean was up. It was tremendous. And, not every year we get one over $100,000. Todd Hansen actually bought the top 2. He also bought the $87,000 horse.
He edged out Glenn Todd, who came in from Canada every year to buy some horses, and they're going back and forth. And got to 80, and Glenn Todd says, no more.
This is our version of the NFL draft, except it would be like teams bidding on who gets players. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So a real
See 'em next
successful
year.
sale, and many of those horses we'll see at Emerald Downs. Let's hope a whole bunch of them. The Travers is this weekend, a great card at Saratoga on Saturday. You can catch all that action right here at Emerald Downs, of course. Phil, the Midsummer Derby, as it's called, has a field of 12, so this should be a really fine race this year.
Yeah, other than the Triple Crown, this is the one race that everybody wants to win, right? And we're going to make some picks.
Sure.
Yeah?
Take it away.
I'm going Mucho Gusto.
Okay.
Bob Baffert. And this is actually lost last time to Maximum Security, but
Ran well.
ran well. Highest buyer speed figure in the field, and you
Okay.
had 6-1 on the morning line. I don't think he's going to go off quite that high, but that's my pick.
Mucho Macho Man, trained by Baffert. Joe Talamo, his regular rider, Gary.
Joe, you love Buyers, don't you?
I don't love them, no.
You're not a Buyer fan. Good for you. I went with Shug McGahee's horse, Code of Honor.
All right.
30-year anniversary of who won the 1989 Travers, Phil?
No, you dream of this stuff. I have no idea.
Easy
Oh.
Goer.
Okay.
So
New York's easy goer.
it'll be Johnny V for Shug McGahee. He's looking for his 4th win in the Travers. And it's amazing that the 2 jockeys in this race have won the last 6 of them. Those 2 jockeys
Wow.
are Javier Castellano, and he's won 4 of the last 6, and Mike Smith's won 2 of them. They've combined for 10 Travers, Joe.
That's outstanding.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah. Was Marshall Cassidy still calling in New York in '89, or was Durkin there by then?
No,
No, that probably would have been Cassidy.
I think
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, it would
New
have been
York's
Cassidy.
easy goer.
In front.
In front. Okay, I'm going to go with Highest Honors. The son of Tappet just won the Curlin in the mud. Went around everybody on the stretch turn. Finished on very impressively. He's 2 for 3 lifetime with a second. He's won at a mile and a 16th. He's won at a mile and an 8th. Chad Brown trainee. Louis Saez. 10-1 morning line. Can you get 10-1 on a Chad Brown?
Boy,
It's on the dirt.
Not too often.
So we have 3 different selections in the Travers, a 12-horse field. And the
What a
morning
race.
line favorite is Tacitus, another
Exact
son
the
of
box.
Tappet. Yeah,
Take our 3 picks, right?
sure. Let's do it.
Why not?
I'll get that ticket. All right, so what else are we talking about? We're talking about quarter horse racing this weekend at Emerald Downs. The Bank of America Challenge has been going on close to 10 years now, and we had a couple of qualifying races just, it was on August 4th, just a couple weeks ago. Let's take a look at those. CM Boom Shakalaka is going to win the first of those, August 4th here at the track. I don't remember which one he is in the middle there.
Yeah,
It's the
in
one
the
that
middle.
finishes first.
So yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. The one, he's the dark horse, yeah.
Yeah.
CM Boom Shakalaka. That race was a little faster than race number 2, just 28 minutes later. And Love to Reason BR won this one. I'm pretty sure he was on the outside because, you remember when you pick a winner. In the white blaze there, coming out toward the fan part of the track. Is that horse going to win? I think he is. Love to Reason BR. He's going to get up. Yeah. And there's the times, you are in if you are a higher qualifier. So we're going to have that $35,000 race on Sunday at Emerald Downs and a couple other quarter horse races as well. CM Boom Shakalaka, the top qualifier.
Yeah, it's interesting because the top 10 times get in.
Yeah.
So that's why you see them really riding hard at the end of those races, because you could finish 7th in a race. It could be 7 in one heat and 3 in the other. It's just all by time. So
That's right.
it's interesting.
Well,
we also have an 870 race and a futurity race.
As
So
you can see,
3 of
Love to
them.
Reason BR won, but he's 5th on that list as far as times go for that day. B.H. Lisa's boy won the Bank of America in 2015. Let's watch and listen. Watch anyway. Okay, no sound. B.H. Lisa's boy.
Joe, call the race, Joe.
Won in 2015. B.H. Lisa's boy is out in front. B.H. Lisa's boy. That would be B.H. Lisa's boy. And, he has won 13 races since then.
Jeez.
It's a lot easier to call him when you know the winner, right? Ahead of time.
It helps if you know second,
Big
third.
pots, too, I'm sure.
Oh,
right?
yeah. He's won the AQA and Los Alamitos big races. He's won 13 races, over $800,000. He won this month. Did B.H. Lisa's boy. So we had an outstanding winner there in 2015. Time for a break. More to come here on Emerald Downs Weekly. You're going to want to know what's coming up this weekend. We'll have it.
We're going to have an 870 race as well.
And a 2-year-old.
And a 2-year-old. Those 870s, they start right before the turn.
Track condition will be
Fast. It's always going to be
I don't know. It's dampening up out there. Emerald Downs Weekly here on NBC Sports Northwest. And time for Stat versus Stat. Gary, I'll go first. So, the Longacres Mile. And we're going to show a couple of horses that didn't do well in previous races. Irish Eyes Are Flying, who won the 2001 mile, had come in 7th in his previous start. Red Wind in 1972 won the mile off an 8th place finish. And then he won. So, who has the worst previous race finish for a Longacres Mile champion? 84 runnings. There's a 7th and an 8th. How about 2019? Law-abiding citizen finished 9th in the Wicker at Del Mar and then won this 3-horse finish in the Longacres Mile. There he is between horses over Any Port in a Storm. Restrained Vengeance third. I'm going to remember those 3 horses. But that's it. No horse had finished that far back in a previous start before the mile in 84 runnings. Law-abiding citizen now top on that list. Yourself.
Well, let's go to the Frank Lucarelli barn. He's been training horses here since 1996, all 24 years. And here are the horses with the most wins all time for Mr. Lucarelli. The filly Touch of Elegance won 9 and 3-1-8. Coastal King, Hard Knock and Claimer, Escalante, and Zerzaplan, who's very fast. He's had numerous winners, but Phil, Touch of Elegance won 9 times of the 1,000 wins for Frank Lucarelli.
Yep. Coastal King, I believe he was second to Schoolin' You, third to Schoolin' You and Raise the Bluff in both the Lads and the Gottstein the same year. He was a good 2-year-old
He sure
as well.
was.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
Only because it's the week that we've celebrated Frank Lucarelli winning number 1,000. Got to give it to Gary. A rare victory for Gary Dougherty. Oh, man, the control room doesn't like my decision.
I don't agree either, but that's okay.
It was a pretty good stat.
Yeah, it was some information.
How did you look at horses in the 30s and 40s, what their last race was? Boy,
I've done the research. I've got the chart for every mile.
Okay.
It says it right there, where the horse finished in his previous race. Or you can look it up.
Are you trying to give away your victory?
No, I did the research, yeah. Okay, so are we taking a break right now? Oh, owner standings, yeah. Chad Christensen, 26% on wins. That's a good figure. He's claimed a lot of horses. And again, the track record is 27 for one season. So with 5 weeks remaining, he's got a shot to set a new record.
So you're saying that in all of Emerald Downs history, back to 96?
Yes,
the
one
best
owner.
single season.
Which is amazing because
we
Emerald Downs used to run
90 days. That was
112. Wasn't it 110?
At the beginning, we were 100.
I mean, there was a lot of years.
There was a lot of 90s.
There was a whole lot of 90
67 days this year. So that would be an incredible accomplishment.
Peter Redekop, Marjorie Avery having real good seasons, as well as Todd and Sean Hansen, who is right up there at top earnings. Okay, we'll take a timeout now, a break on Emerald Downs Weekly, and come back with our final segment.
Gary, when you win something, you don't then ask questions about his stat.
Another sympathy.
That makes it.
I was impressed that.
Another sympathy victory.
Well, I was thinking people don't know.
It could be taken away from you.
How do you look up stuff in the 30s and the 40s? That's good.
It was totally unique.
Charts were around back then.
They were.
Emerald Downs Weekly, our final segment. Gary's gloating over his stat versus stat victory. And but we have some things happening at the track this weekend. Let's go over them.
Yes, racing Friday night, right, Phil? 6:30.
Always.
There's
Friday
the first
nights.
right, Phil, of the show.
We have a band, first band, Dakota Portman's going to come out, play some country music. He's from Maple Valley. That's Friday night. Saturday, dollar night, including $1 margaritas.
Wow.
Then after racing, make sure to come to the 5th floor. We got Dancing in the Downs with Motley Crue and Rat. That show will start around 8:30.
Tribute bands, of course,
Yes, tribute
Yes.
bands.
in case
Well,
somebody's out there
not the original band.
just in town, you know.
I usually show
Wow.
up for a while, and I enjoy it. It's a lot
That's
of
going to
fun.
be loud.
Yes,
Yes.
but it'll be a good night. Then on Sunday, we'll have our second handicapping contest of the year. $2,000 in prizes. We'll use 3 tracks: Emerald Downs, Del Mar, and Golden Gate. You get to buy a $40 voucher or a card, and you bet 10 $2 win place bets on 10 races. Make sure 5 from Emerald Downs, other 5 from California, and whoever amasses the most money wins
They get to keep their
$1,000.
earnings as well.
And you get to keep the money on your card. Exactly.
Yeah, they're making real bets. This isn't so. That's
Perry
makes
makes sure
it
the
really
money goes in the
interesting.
pools, and after it's all done, we'll figure out the top 4 spots, and if you got the most money back, you get the top prize of $1,000. But everybody, after we're done with the contest, can put their card through the machine, get a voucher, goes to a mutual clerk, and get their money.
And what was the top total? We had one a couple months ago.
Yeah, it was in the 50s.
Yep.
$50. But it was
Okay.
pretty chalky that day.
Yeah,
And we've added an extra racetrack, Golden Gate, so we'll have 3 tracks. And there'll be 3 quarter-horse races here at Emerald Downs on that Sunday, and probably 7 thoroughbred races. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yep.
And we're looking for a big turnout and little bragging rights for the winner.
Where do you sign up for that? Registration at 11:30 up
5th
on
floor.
5th floor.
Yep,
Okay.
right off the elevator there. I'll be there bright and early, ready to go.
Must
I'll
be
sign you up.
18 or older. We should mention. You only have to be 18 to wager on the races or in our card room. Play table games all weekend as well.
Right. And as long as you use your card, you can make your bets anywhere in the facility. So that'll be a lot of fun this Sunday.
Okay, keep that in mind. 6:30 Friday night, 5 p.m. on Saturday, first race, dollar night, Sunday at 2 p.m. here at Emerald Downs, and experiencing just a little bit of precipitation early in the week, but it's supposed to be a nice weekend again here for summer racing at Emerald Downs.
Fast. We love it when we see Tom Harris there. It's fast. Every
It is.
day it's been fast.
At the start of the day, every
Yes.
day.
Every
15
day.
more to go.
52 days or so.
52 in.
Okay. All right. Well, then the Travers again is this weekend. A great card at
Yeah.
Saratoga. The Travers goes about 2:45 in the afternoon. And again,
Joe, that's
Emerald
150th running of the
Downs.
Travers.
Is it? Wow. That's an old
Hard to
race.
believe. We've had,
That's-
84 miles, and now got a ways to
So
go
that's
to get 150.
what is it? The Derby is 100. I'm guessing now. The Derby's right around 150. The Belmont's older than the Derby.
Correct.
Belmont Stakes. Okay, well, we are filling time here, but we know a little bit about what we're talking about usually. Hey, the Long Acres Mile has been featured at the track all year long, the build-up, and the mile, of course, happened. Just a video that was played on track, and it's on YouTube. Let's show it to you right now as we end Emerald Downs Weekly for this time. See you at the track. In a rare 3-horse finish, the 2019 Long Acres Mile raced into history with another thrilling edition of the Northwest Top Race. Any Port in a Storm continues to lead. Any Port in a Storm by a half length. Law-abiding Citizen and Restrained Vengeance coming into the 16th pole. Any Port in a Storm, Law-abiding Citizen, and Restrained Vengeance. A 3-way finish at the end of the Long Acres Mile. Law-abiding Citizen edged out the favorite Any Port in a Storm in a desperate head bob at the wire to win the 84th edition, while Restrained Vengeance was a late threatening third. Though a Kentucky bred who'd previously raced strictly in California, law-abiding Citizens' connections have strong local ties. Ownership is all from Washington. Dan Agnew, Vancouver, John Zitko, Tacoma, and Jerry Schneider, Auburn. Trainer Mark Glatt grew up in Auburn before relocating to Southern California in the 1990s. Agnew's father, S.J. Agnew, was one of the state's prominent breeders and owners beginning in the 1950s and built T90 Ranch in Tenino. S.J. Agnew won the 71 mile at Long Acres with pitch out. That race was made famous when a distracted leader, Titular II, propped in mid-stretch, enabling pitch out to beat Command Module by a nose. Dan Agnew took up breeding and racing as well, and T90 later became Dandar Farms on the same location. Jerry Schneider and wife Gail have been longtime Washington breeders and owners, operating Riverbend Farm in Auburn since the 1970s. They were part of the ownership group that campaigned Chum Salmon in his tremendous career, which included the 1985 Long Acres Mile.
And here he comes. It's Chum Salmon moving on the outside. Deerwick has the lead. Chum Salmon is going to catch him on the outside. There's Chum Salmon taking the lead. He's Chum Salmon.
John Zitko has been a horse owner and racing attendee for decades, often seen at Emerald Downs to follow his horses and enjoy handicapping. In recent years, he joined Agnew and Schneider in an ownership group which mostly races in Southern California. On the day prior to the mile, their 2-year-old colt, Collusion Illusion, won the Best Pal Stakes at Del Mar. The Long Acres Mile was once again an outstanding, eclectic field, attracting runners from Canada, California, and the Midwest. 8 shippers came to town to join Any Port in a Storm, Elliott Bay, and Oh Marvelous Me to make up the 11-horse field that thrilled Northwest and nationwide fans once again.